Communications Associate for the Center for Rural Affairs. While we are waiting for people to join us, please say hello in the comments section and also leave any questions you have there at any time. The Center for Rural Affairs was established in 1973 in Northeast Nebraska. We exist to build more vibrant rural communities. We are based in Lyons, and we also have staff who work across the state, as well as Iowa, South Dakota, and Minnesota. Today, we're going to talk about rural broadband and the Nebraska Broadband Speed Test Initiative. During the 2020 session, Nebraska State Senator Tom Brandt, in conjunction with the center, drafted and introduced Legislative Bill 996 to create the Broadband Data Improvement Program. The program involves community members in the process of validating internet access and helps ensure the state is able to fully access federal broadband grant programs. The bill went on to receive unanimous approval from the legislature and was signed into law last summer, and its impact continues to grow. This session, LB 388, prepared by Governor Pete Ricketts and Speaker Mike Hilgers, is relying on the Broadband Data Improvement Program as a primary tool when determining which areas of rural Nebraska should be eligible for broadband access funds. Acknowledging the importance of involving community members when validating reported data, the Nebraska Regional Officials Council, or NROC, has launched a statewide broadband speed test initiative to identify gaps in internet service and speeds to close the digital divide. Joining me today to talk about the initiative is Shawnna Silvius, an economic development planner with the Metropolitan Area Planning Agency, also known as MAPA, which is one of the development districts of NROC. She has more than 16 years of experience in economic development and leads MAPA's work in improving broadband access. Thank you, Shawnna, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Before we talk about the initiative, can you please share with me a basic definition of broadband?
Sure. Basically, broadband is a high-capacity transmission. It's a way of communicating many messages through a variety of different frequencies. And the Federal Communications Commission defines broadband back in 2015 as 25 megabits per second download with 3 megabits per second upload. What we know is that many areas are or unserved, they don't reach that capacity. And so that's what this initiative is really about, is to identify those areas so that we can support the governor's initiative.
Why is broadband and improved broadband access important?
As we know, as we've learned very clearly with the pandemic, where we've had people return to home, to work from home, we've got children working from home, you have 4 or 5 people on the same internet service in the home, that more and more families have seen delays in their service. We have businesses that have had challenges keeping their employees connected, a lot of file sharing, uploading files into a web cloud platform so that they can share and continue to work remotely. That's been really the reason that it's really come to the forefront, right up front. This has been an issue that's been a topic of discussion with our government leaders for many years, but it really came to the forefront as quickly because of the extreme need to be able to provide the capacity that can allow us to basically live, work, and play in our communities. So it's really important for rural areas. We see a digital divide between the metropolitan area as well and compared to the rural area. Same thing in different neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods are served and unserved. There's a couple top definitions or topics, I guess, that we're really looking at. We're looking at accessibility. So someone having the ability to have access to service, the affordability issue, and also we're looking at bandwidth capacity so that speed capacity for upload and download are adequate to service our needs, not only today, but in the future. And now is the time for our government to be setting those standards.
Tell me a little bit about the Broadband Speed Test Initiative.
Okay, so NROC, as you mentioned, is the official council of all of the development districts in Nebraska. MAPA serves 4 counties in Nebraska, but also 2 counties in Iowa. So we serve Mills and Potawatomi County. They are also included in this project. What it is we applied for U.S. Economic Development Administration grant funds through the CARES Act, specifically for COVID recovery and resiliency funding, to basically provide and launch the statewide initiative for mapping bandwidth and internet service provider services across the state. So through the development districts, we can each promote this initiative through our own areas as well as statewide. Basically, the speed test is a 1-minute, very simple thing for you all to do. We really want to get home access. That's where we want to see those speeds at your home. It is nebraskaspeedtest.org or speedtestne.org. And I believe you'll put that up on the screen in a little bit. But it's basically a crowdsourcing mapping of the internet service providers and using some very, very powerful digital technology on the backside. We partnered with an organization out of Minnesota called GeoPartners. They are an analytic firm that has been specializing in this industry for a long time. And they are working within states to map statewide initiatives such as us. And Nebraska is actually the 5th state to be launching a statewide initiative. They've helped with Minnesota, with Washington State, and a number of other states. So we're also trying to see if Iowa is also interested. And so our Mills County and Potawatomi County are kind of piloting this for us in Iowa. The technology on the backside is really the important piece to this, but we have to have, boy, it just got dark in here. We have to have the data from the speed tests in order for us to be able to pull that data. So we need everyone to go out, whether you're on a cell phone, you can be on Wi-Fi, whether you're at home or on a community network, or you can be on your cellular service. We want you to take this multiple ways because we are also measuring cellular service capacity as well. And so we just encourage you to do it and to do it often. We're going to have a subscription to this service for approximately another 1.5 years. And we're going to continue to get more and more valid data from the speed test. But we can actually take the data we've collected so far and already start identifying areas where it is under that capacity, that 25.3 capacity. That is actually what it is supposed to be everywhere. So when you take the speed test, you'll go to the site with the URL that we just shared, and you'll scroll down the page. You'll be able to enter your address. If you do not have access to service, we want you to click that button and give us your address, and it will put a black dot on the map. Then you can also include your email if you would like some follow-up information. You'll run the test. You'll enter your information. You'll run the test. You can also include how much you pay monthly for your service. That will help us identify some of the affordability discrepancies across the state, across the regional area. It'll run, and then on your screen, you'll see an upload and a download speed, a jitter and a ping. Those two probably don't mean as much to you all, but they do to us. And then if you scroll down below that, you'll see a map of the state of Nebraska, and there will be colored dots all over the map. That's what's so interesting about the use of this tool is it will show us visually, and it's down to a parcel, not to a census tract, but to a parcel, what the service, who the service provider is and what the speed is. So we'll be able to see that black, yellow, and red dots. Those are the areas we need to look at as being either unserved, meaning no service with black, or underserved, meaning they're not even at the capacity they're supposed to be at. And then we'll also be able to see those improvements as those companies receive funds, and as we build out and expand our services, we'll be able to watch those speeds increase. So we'll have some accountability as well to know that those dollars are going for improvements and expansion of service. So you can zoom in and look at the dots on the map.
Well, great. Well, thank you for that information. It sounds like it's pretty simple.
Very simple.
to do for everybody.
And you can do it often. I mean, you can do it different days of the week. You can do it different times of the day. It will just, your address becomes a longitude and latitude in the system. It's no longer, it's not a privacy issue. It's all confidential, but your longitude and latitude will be what's actually mapped. And it'll just continue to increase the validity of your specific service statistics.
What happens to the data collected by people taking the test?
So what will happen is local leaders and decision makers will be working with us we've got some IT and GIS staff here in MAPA that are able to help us go in on that map in our regional area and look at those dots where it's unserved or underserved. We can pull those out. We can identify how many households are in that area. We can identify where there is service, who the service providers are. We can identify the easiest and quickest way to build certain areas out, and even look at how we can budget for various types of systems, whether it be fiber or others. And we can also even score it on specific grant applications. So the tool is very, very powerful once we have the data. And so we need all of you to do the speed test for us so that we can provide the best data to our leaders so that they can make the best decisions as to where their priority areas are for building out within their regional area or just across the whole state.
Well, great. Well, Shawnna, thank you. This has been some great information to provide folks here across the state and also over in Iowa. So I appreciate you joining us today for our rural rapport. As a reminder, everyone, you can visit the center's website, cfra.org, or follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, where we continually share resources that we develop and promote events that we're having. Please join us back here live next Tuesday for another Rural Rapport. Have a great day, everyone.